Welcome to This Week in Guns, a podcast that covers commentary on the latest firearms industry news, information, and buzz. Brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network. I'm your host, Jake Challen, president of FRN. You make this show possible. That's right, you simply click through our Amazon affiliate link the next time you're shopping online, and a small portion of your sale goes to supporting pro-gun shows like This Week in Guns. We have a great panel this week. We have a first-timer here, Baraka James, president of Modern American Shooting and Firearms. Hey, Baraka.
How are you? Good evening.
Doing great. You got a great patch panel behind you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I thought you might like something over here.
Yeah.
Possibly this one, possibly? I don't know. That one's pretty cool.
Well, very cool. So, Baraka, give us a little bio about yourself and what you do in the firearms world.
Sure. I founded Modern American Shooting Firearms probably about 4.5 years ago. We started off as an LLC, and recently we just became, as of January, we filed for 501c3. The reason being is our education is dedicated to firearms safety education training. So we went and filed as an educational organization. Basically, our mission statement is gun ownership is your right, safety, education, and training is your responsibility. Empowering people through education. Safety is only learned through proper education. So we're trying to get more people to go out and stop being gun collectors and actually learning how to train with guns and how they function properly, passing the education on to their children. I mean, everything starts with education. So,
very cool. And yeah, towards the end of the show, we'll have you share a little bit more about your organization and where people can connect with you. Also
awesome.
have Natalie Foster, Girls Guide to Guns and Love at First Shot. Good to have you back, Natalie.
Hey, Jake. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here as usual. Excited to meet you, Baraka. This is it's always fun to welcome a new guy. Excited to hear more about what you do.
Awesome, thank you.
And I kind of like, I mean, then there's that guy, Billy, you know.
Billy Johnson of Boxer Tactical and Admits the Noise. Hey, Billy.
Hey, Jake, how you doing, man? Good to be here.
Doing great. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual co-hosts and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Firearms Radio Network and or their employers. Viewer discretion is advised. Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. If you're watching live, as Baraka was showing you, you can get some awesome patches over at patriotpatch.co. Have a couple new pre-orders up, a bunch of new t-shirts. If you haven't checked out the t-shirts over at Patriot Patch in a while, go check those out. And also sign up for our email newsletter for a chance to win a free patch a month for a year, patriotpatch.co. And also, real quick, if you'd like to support this program, kind of crowdfund This Week in Guns, you can support us through Patreon, patreon.com/week. If you pledge at the $10 level, you can hang out after the show with the hosts every other week. And, yeah, get to see, what's... You think the show you listen to is crazy, just wait till I hit stop broadcast and what happens afterwards. So patreon.com/week. And there's other perks on there too. There's like T-shirt of the month club, patch of the month club. There's we're putting together these swag boxes. They're like, call them like ammo dump boxes and stuff, where you have reloading reloading mats, gear bags, stuff like that. Patreon.com/week. And NRA show is coming up really soon here, and we're doing a Firearms Radio Network meetup at the Cardinal Hall of Fame Cafe. It's going to be 7 p.m. Saturday night. So you'll get to hang out with a bunch of the Firearms Radio Network crew and several of the personalities on this show as well. So hope to see you there. Cardinal Hall of Fame Cafe, Saturday night, 7 p.m. at the NRA show in Louisville, Kentucky. Top stories this week. I'm going to start with positive news. Oklahoma passes hunting with suppressors that's been signed into law. So another state where you can finally hunt with a suppressor. And I'm going to just hit the other three here. I just got three quick positive news stories. Tennessee campus carry for university faculty becomes law. New law in effect allows public employees in Kansas to carry on the job. And D.C. to get first gun range and store within the year, and it will have at least 30 shooting lanes. Good stuff.
Yes,
I think
Very
it's
good
good
indeed.
stuff.
stuff.
Well, the only thing I think with the campus carry and the government employees or state employees, the one thing that concerned, those are still like carve-out laws. I mean, we're making small improvements, but I don't like the idea when, like in Tennessee, faculty can carry concealed, but students aren't allowed to, and I consider that a carve-out, right? So the students really don't get to exercise their civil rights, but the faculty does. Why is the faculty's life worth more than the students' lives? So while it's still a positive step, right, it's little incremental steps, I think a larger argument to be had there is that why are some people being allowed to exercise their civil rights and other people aren't? You know, that's a bad precedent to set. I'm not a big fan of carve-outs for retired law enforcement. I just don't think certain sectors of our society should be allowed special rights, right? They belong to everybody. So it's still a positive step, but I think kind of the spin on the article is a little off for me personally.
Yeah, great point. Because you take that to the extreme, and you have the carve-outs for the politicians in New York City, who are the only ones who, can really be protected. Either they can, get the very elusive New York carry permits, or they have armed bodyguards. And that's
Oh,
like,
if you're a poor single mother living in Queens, right? You're someone that's living paycheck to paycheck. Good luck trying to get a pistol permit in New York City.
mm-hmm.
That's right. And the same situations here in Los Angeles. It was kind of, an unsaid, just kind of unspoken, just kind of rule that at least the former sheriff, because here, California is the type of state in which you have to apply to the sheriff of your county for a concealed carry permit. So, just based on, and the tricky thing there is he's an elected official, right? So, there were people making sure that they donated enough money so that they could, definitely get that elusive concealed carry, and it's just you're right, it's ridiculous that some people have access to these rights and others don't.
So, end of positive news.
Sorry,
I
spun that in the wrong direction.
No, we need to stick with positive news because of all the craziness from this past week and with
Absolutely.
stuff. Yes,
Well,
I think we should hang out here for a bit. Thank you, Jake.
Well,
Let's
I have
redirect.
one more here with an autoplay ad, so bear with me here while I pause that. So gun sales surged 26% at Ruger. They not only had a surge in gun sales, but surge in earnings by 50% compared to a year ago for the quarter.
But these guys continue to do that. It is just year after year, quarter after quarter. Ruger, I mean, I say that. My understanding is that that's the case. They just continue to grow. Somebody's really managing things well over there, and I don't know. It's obviously it's a great thing to see anybody doing that. But what I think is very interesting about Ruger, and I kind of wish Whitey was here, or maybe Patton was here to, chime in, because he's not a big fan of the older gun manufacturers. But what's interesting to me is this is not necessarily, and I like Ruger, I own at least two, but they are not a super innovative company necessarily compared to a lot of your smaller guys, but Ruger still consistently has impressive sales, and they just seem to manage the business really well. I don't know, do you guys have any insights on that and why they're doing so exceptionally well? Now, they did, by the way, add Sandy Froman to the board of directors, I think a couple of quarters ago, and I think that's an amazing move. She's a former president of the NRA, and she's just kind of a badass, so I love that woman. But so that was a smart move. But I just keep seeing really smart moves from a company that has virtually no online presence. There's no social media activity, not that I've seen anyway, nothing significant, So I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Well, out of the big companies, because we'll get into Remington, and that's a favorite of people people to bash on.
Marty Patton, yeah.
But for Ruger, I mean, they make, for one, they have a solid track record of making good, reliable guns. They're not always the prettiest, they're not always the coolest, but they have a really good, solid track line of making really good guns. And in the last 3 to 5 years, they've really been really kind of changing things over there, where they're coming out with AR-15s. They came out with the Ruger precision rifle, which is, you know, I, I I heard at one time that was like, it's a sold, back ordered a year out, the Ruger precision rifle, and heard nothing, really nothing but good things about that as being like the go-to budget precision rifle on the market currently. And everything from small carry pistols, the LC9s, all the way to the ARs, and they're getting into all kinds of different market segments. And it seems like, and they're also doing so back in the 90s they would never do the high capacity magazines and everything, and like even stuff like that, they're not even afraid to touch that now.
Well, I think it's the classic and the new. So they pretty much own the pocket pistol market as far as the LC9, the LCP, the LC
LCR,
9S, and the LCR. Right, exactly. And then you've got the classic, the 1022. Who doesn't own a 1022? Ruger. That's the go-to 22 LR. I bought my daughter one for her 8th birthday. My wife has one. I have a 22 takedown with a threaded barrel. I mean, so I think that's where they're owning that.
Can I just pause you there and note for all the dads out there that you bought your daughter one for her 8th birthday? And that is amazing. And as we're coming up on Mother's Day and Father's Day, and here, as a person who has a daughter, those moments where my dad would take me out shooting, and shooting even at camp and that kind of thing, knowing how to do that and feeling so proud of yourself and so accomplished, and knowing how to shoot on a Ruger 1022 is so amazing. And you get a dad award right there.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It's really important. It really is.
I agree.
This time, that time spent is really important. Okay, sorry for the diversion. Continue, please.
Thank you.
Billy, what are your thoughts?
I don't have any problem with Ruger. I think it's, I think they've been doing really well. And you're right, it's one of the, I guess we could say, long-running gun companies, right? They've been doing extremely well. I think a lot has to do with it. They've picked some really good places to manufacture. I mean, look at where some of the companies that are struggling, right? They were holdouts for a very long time, up in Connecticut, up in New York, and those are the companies that we're seeing in trouble right now. And Ruger's,
well, they still have that. I mean, they have the Arizona plant, but then they also, aren't they in New Hampshire?
They're in North Carolina. They have a really big plant in North Carolina, and I know Prescott, Arizona.
Right.
I'm not sure where else they're manufacturing at.
I think they still have one in Connecticut, right? Or
they have, okay, well, there you go.
Or New Hampshire. But you're right. I mean,
somewhere up north.
Well, New Hampshire's a free state, so I'm not, New Hampshire's A-okay with me.
Right. Well, but don't you think, Billy, it's interesting that the online presence isn't, like, it's amazing to me, because the classic piece I get, you've still got that market where you've got the inherited guns and inheriting the knowledge of that particular brand. But then, I mean, you really go to, like, you think of Smith & Wesson or a Colt even, or Remington, and Ruger to me is a little farther down the line, and yet they're doing so much better than a lot of those companies with no real online presence. I don't know. I think it's really.
Well, I think they really captured the concealed carry, right? They were right there when concealed carry started to become popular.
Yeah.
They're a go-to brand. You can't open a gun store and not carry Ruger, right? I mean, there's just certain pistols and guns that you're going to have to carry, and Ruger has that brand recognition. They're not a fanboy company, right? They're never going to have some huge Instagram following. People aren't ooh and ahhing over, the modifications made to a Ruger. That's not
true.
That's not the purpose that Ruger serves, right?
Right.
It's like what Baraka just said, buying his daughter a 1022. There's more of a heritage with Ruger, and they've tended to keep that alive, where when we were talking about last week, like Remington, you're like, Remington's got two models, right? And now they're almost more of an ammunition company, I feel like, than a firearms company. And you know why we've seen Colt, you know, be decimated. We look at a Ruger and we're like, wow, they're doing really well. They're profitable. They're making money. People are buying their pistols.
Yeah,
So,
it's just managed really well. It's cool to see.
so Ruger, their headquarters are in Southport, Connecticut, but all their manufacturing facilities are in 3 different states: Newport, New Hampshire, Prescott, Arizona, and Mayodan, North Carolina.
You realize anybody from Prescott, Arizona, is going to be very annoyed right now with the way that you guys are pronouncing it.
Well, I grew up in Arizona. It's Prescott.
Yeah, that's how they say it. Prescott, a lot of them.
Right. No, Billy, this is what I'm saying. I can't believe you're pronouncing it Prescott.
Yeah, me neither, because my friend Alan, who owns Battle Comp, he just moved there with about a year and a half ago, and I visited him out there probably like 3 months ago, and they all say Prescott.
That's right. It's a great town. It's a great town.
It is.
Shout out to the
No,
Prescott.
I would debate that. Prescott. Now I have to like Prescott.
I'm telling you, that's how they all say
No,
it.
you're right. I say Prescott. I say Prescott too.
Okay, there you go. And it was like 20 degrees cooler than when we left Phoenix. Phoenix was hot, man.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, well, and you know, Gunsight is not far from there. It's just, 30, 40 minutes or something? So, and
Actually, I was there that same day.
Ah, yes. It's just glorious, isn't it, to be out there?
2,600 acres, yeah, it was impressive. Lieutenant Colonel Freddie Blish, who just recently bought Robar Guns, he took me for a private tour around there. He's one of the instructors, and it's impressive. But that school has so much potential. They just don't get that many people through there anymore.
Remington's new warranty and a brief comparison to others, and then a companion story for Remington. Stinko Di Maio. Remington axes 200 jobs and closes Kentucky plant.
Ooh.
Jeez.
Yeah, but that's part of the consolidation.
So, let's start with the warranty. Remington is now offering a limited lifetime warranty on all firearms purchased on or after January 1st, 2016. So the warranty covers the original purchaser of a new Remington firearm. Terms guarantee the gun to be free of material and workmanship defects for a period of time it belongs to the original owner. And Remington promises to repair or replace any parts or replace the gun itself if that repair is not possible.
Okay, was this done out of necessity? Were people complaining about the quality of their firearms? Because I have a Remington 870 shotgun that runs like a champ. I've abused and used that thing through multiple classes.
I think we're looking at this the wrong way. I think this is more of a marketing move, as they're doing poorly right now in sales by offering a lifetime warranty. It's saying, hey, we believe in our product, we're not going anywhere, and we believe in it so much that we're going to offer you a lifetime warranty. You know, warranties in the gun world are relatively inexpensive, lifetime warranties. Because honestly, it covers very little. It doesn't cover wear and tear, and most gun problems are going to be wear and tear. So it's very cheap for them to do, and I really just think this is like, hey, stuff's not going well. What can we do to get a little attention?
Yeah, we need some good press.
Yeah. I kind of see it. Like, as soon as I saw them announce it, I'm like, oh, I saw right through it. I'm like, okay, that's what they're doing. It's cheap. It's a cheap thing for them to do.
Hey, does anybody have a diagnosis for what is going on at Remington and what they could do better to come back? Because, as opposed to Patton and Whitey, I love these old companies. I think they're a really important thread in the fabric of the United States. So I'd love to see them stick around. So
Well, one, they gotta stop letting Wall Street run them into the ground. First of all. Second of all, they need to skinny up their model line. There's no reason you need 100 different SKUs on a 700. I mean, come on,
That's
guys.
True.
Like, let's make 5 different 700s, okay? Let's, get rid of all those SKUs and get those people that are building all those other models to focus on something new and exciting. Because you're right. I mean, they're a great name. When you hear names like Colt and Remington, you're just like,
it's America.
Yeah, that's right. 100%.
And it's sad to see. It's just sad to see what's happened in some of those companies. But I mean, there's so many great American companies that are gone. I mean, Eastman Kodak, Singer. I mean, these are companies that were heavy into manufacturing weapons in World War II. They're not even around. And you know, Remington and Colt have managed to stick around for a while, but it doesn't look good.
So I think one thing Remington, one mistake they made early on was by delaying getting into the handgun market. As we see the rise of concealed carry over the last 5 to 8 years, Remington really made no effort to enter that marketplace until the last 3 years, and then they've done really nothing but fumble their attempts at the concealed carry handgun market.
But I think what Billy was saying has merit. I mean, they should stick to what they know and what they're good at, which is shotguns and the 700. I mean, they're great with long distance, rifles, and they're great with shotguns, and they should just own that and refine their product line, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of a Benelli style, a Benelli model, like where it's like shotguns. We know shotguns. We do shotguns well, and then.
Totally, I could see that. Yeah. So, an interesting tidbit in this article. This is on buryingarms.com, and Bob Owens is speculating how long Remington's iconic plant in New York will last in Lyon, New York. It's been there since 1828, and is.
Wow.
I think it says here. I think there's a word missing or something, but I think what he's trying to say is it's the only factory in the nation that is still making its original product. That for that long, since 1828.
Which headline is that? Sorry, Jake.
It's a sub-headline. It's Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So, well, we time will tell. See how Remington's. But I think Billy has a great point about letting Wall Street run them and letting Freedom Group kind of run them into the ground.
Well, yeah, I guess I should say investment groups. It's technically not Wall Street, but I mean,
Wall Street.
You can say,
types.
it's a private
Wall
equity
Street
firm
type.
that owns
Right.
it, but it's all big money, and it's all Wall Street money, and it's all people that are only interested. There's one thing, right? When you have that type of money in your company, people are only looking at making a profit, and it's an investment. It's not necessarily trying to make the best gun. It's trying to make the most profitable gun.
And the big problem here, you really may have nailed it on the head. The big problem is what types of people are on that board? Are they gun guys? No.
All right.
No, most likely they have no idea about, they've probably never shot any of the guns Remington's made. And so that they're in the investment world, so they may know a lot about growing businesses, but do they know about growing firearms companies? And so far they've proven that they probably don't. Harris Publications shutting down. So media giant Harris Publications, which has been around since 1977, has 75 brands, including a dozen gun publications, has ceased to exist.
Yeah, this one caught me off guard when I read this. You guys know that. I had no idea. I've been in kind of a media blackout because I really can't handle it right now. And I had no idea. That was really surprising. And to me, it's sad. I've written a few pieces for them over the years and been really encouraged, and I've learned a lot from their publications too. So I don't know. What are your thoughts here, guys?
I think it's the Remington 700 case right there, right? 12 different publications in the gun world that probably most of us here could only name one of them.
Yeah.
Spreading themselves too thin, duplicating the same articles across different publications. I mean, when you pick up a magazine from the same company, you open it up and you're like, wow, same photography, same articles, different cover, right? And that's always a disappointment. It always was a disappointment in the gun world until recoil came along, right? And then you're like, whoa, my God, I've never seen something like this before.
Well, the new recoil, the new Ian Harrison recoil, right?
Yes.
Because the old recoil was just any other gun rag, It was.
Well, no, I mean, but when Recoil came out, I mean, photography, everything was completely different.
Yeah, they did a lot of things right from the beginning with that magazine.
Oh, did they? Okay. Well, they weren't on my radar personally, but I mean.
They were mine because when I first came across it, it just jumped out on the gun rack. You're like, whoa! Like the cover is thick, the photography's good.
Yeah.
And then it's right next to Weapons Tactic that looks like it's a mail order catalog from 1989. Right, where you got to like rip out the sheet and fill out what you want to send it into the company. I just felt like Harris Publications was like stuck in the 80s, and it was that time where basically if you could find an audience of 50,000 people, you could make a magazine and make money, right? And so they would just come up with all the Knitter's Paradise. Oh, that's a good one. Knitters will buy this, and you just come up with all these special interest magazines, and then you just spread yourself out there, and then the internet comes along, and you get clobbered. I'm shocked they lasted this long.
Yeah, I mean, it's the publishing world at large, not just gun magazines, but we're going to see a lot of magazines, a lot of traditional media go away, not even just magazines, but traditional TV shows, as everything becomes on demand. People just don't consume content this way anymore.
Very true.
That's right. That's why everybody's cutting the cord, as they say. I mean, we don't have cable, We watch everything online. I get all my news from Twitter. I mean, it's true. You're right. You're right. It's sad. I wonder what's next for FMG. That was their biggest competitor, I think. I wonder what their model looks like right now. And the other interesting thing is Harris is in New York, right? FMG, I believe, is in San Diego, so it's not that much better, but it is still more of a gun-friendly area. So
I think what you're going to see is there's a limited amount of space. I mean, their magazines are predominantly going to be sold in grocery stores, drug stores.
Bass Pro, Cabela's.
Yeah, that's where you're seeing
Ranges.
Weapons Tactics and their other publications. So now you're going to see shelf space open up. So it does give an opportunity for another company to come out with another publication, because one of the biggest things in any product is having shelf space and being able to display your magazine. So it does open up opportunities for someone else, but you got to wonder if it was a little too saturated as is. I can't tell you the last time I bought a Weapons Tactic magazine.
Yeah. Well, and what this is going to do, this is going to extend, maybe bolster, their competition like FMG. It's going to possibly expand their lifespan, because all these people are now without a magazine, so they're going to go look for a new magazine if they're going to subscribe to a new magazine. But this kind of reminds me. I think Harris is making a very strategic early exit of this marketplace, whereas their competition will lag on. Kind of like how Verizon, they sold all of their copper business, your phone line running to your house. Verizon was huge in that. And they got out of it completely. We're getting out of copper. We see the writing on the wall. It's not going to last. It's cell phones, wireless, that's where it's at. And so that's what they complete, now it's Verizon Wireless. And so...
Plus, I think it's a lot to do with laziness and ease of use. A lot of people use tablets to read now and e-readers and things, and so a lot of online magazines have taken off. And if you don't compete in that market space and have both a printed rag as well as a online presence, you're going to fall behind.
Well, and that's something Recoil. That's something Recoil did from almost the beginning, was have the digital version on Amazon right away. So,
but I will tell you one thing, and maybe I'm just old school. I've tried so many different readers and so many online magazines, and to me, nothing replaces flipping through a magazine. I just went to the store the other night and I bought a bunch of different magazines, and I check out, I have like $45 in magazines, right? And they'll sit.
I think that's our generation, though, Billy. I think the newer generation, not so much. I grew up the same way you did. I used to read the comics, the Sunday comics. That was my exciting thing on Sunday, was to pull out the comics out of the Sunday paper. So yes, that excitement. But I don't know, these days everybody's
I think
electronic.
online, though, the experience with online magazines is going to have to improve. It's going to have to become more interactive. There's going to have to be something that really draws me to it. Simply scanning the page and putting it in a PDF flip form online is not interesting to me.
Well, it's just cutting down on bulk, right? That's the whole point. But you're right. The experience is that. And then if they do enhance the experience, what does that look like? Well, a blog, you know? Like, I mean, it just ends up being, okay, well, we'll throw a little video in here to enhance the article, to supplement whatever we're saying. So, I mean, at least that's what I would envision for anything, you would elaborate on that would make someone really look for the same content in an e-reader, right?
Right, yeah, and I don't know what that looks like. I don't know who's really doing that. I mean, I think obviously the dust hasn't settled with that right now, and where that's heading. I mean, we still don't have video that's really, in a sense, truly interactive. I mean, is there a player out there? I know there was a Touch Something that was like a YouTube type player where you could watch a video, and as stats would pop up, you could click on them, and it would expand on the stats, right? Like more like interactive video, like a choose your own adventure video site, right? That's kind of how I want like an e-reader in a magazine. It's an ad for a company. Cool. I want to push on that gun, expand the gun, flip it around. I want to see some stats, flip those around. If I'm going to be in that environment of reading something on my tablet, I want it much more interactive. And I know that costs money, right? I mean, for a lot of these publications, it's not within their means to do something like that. But I do think there's lots of opportunity there. When a Recoil magazine can do something really cool like that, I'll be reading it on my iPad.
Yeah.
So kind of in this same vein of print media, online media, that I have an article in here, The Truth About Guns. They released their reader demographic survey results for 2016. So,
oh look, there's me in the tiny 1.5%. Oh yeah, that's where.
So yeah, they have 1.5% female audience. Some of these they're pretty interesting. The average age demographic is, it really looks like their big age demo is between 18 and 40. Which I find interesting because the Firearms Radio Network, we tend to be older. Our biggest demo is like 28 to 40. So our demo is definitely older. And then education level, that, I don't know, that probably nothing surprising there.
Actually, I think it's really impressive. I mean, you got 35% of the people have a bachelor's degree. 13% a master's degree. I would say they have and it doesn't surprise me at all because I read the site all the time, and they have a very educated audience.
Yeah, I guess if you add up degrees versus non-degrees, it is highly educated.
I'm not saying ivory tower educated. I'm just saying, like, honestly, reading their comment section is actually enjoyable. Right? Like, compare their comment section to YouTube.
Well, and they actually police their comment sections too, which is a big difference.
This reminds me of that Donald Trump comment. I love the poorly educated. Do you remember that one? I don't remember one.
I thought you were taking a break, Natalie.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Employed. Shocking. Most people that read The Truth About Guns are employed.
Wow.
How long have people been reading? Majority have been reading over 2 years, which is cool. But yeah, just interesting read. I really like it when big media outlets like this kind of open up and show you under the hood of who's at their site, what they're what kind of people are consuming their content. It's really pretty interesting. I mean, it goes all the way into political leanings. Do you have a concealed carry license? And over 75% have a concealed carry license that read The Truth About Guns. That's pretty impressive, I think.
17 people don't support concealed carry.
Kill the
And
character.
those people accidentally clicked no, by the way.
Trolls, trolls, trolls.
Yeah.
Always.
They did. They just identified themselves as trolls.
So this is interesting, though. They asked some controversial questions like, do you support universal background checks? And 22% of tag readers support universal background checks.
That's because they don't understand what it means.
That's right. They don't understand what it's defined. That's, yeah, I second that, Baraka. By the way, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I really think that I really might call you BA from now on, because Baraka sounds a lot like BA Barakas.
You know how many times the A team was on when I was in high school, and I got that so much in high school is ridiculous. But that's why I said people
Plus,
just
you're
use
like
the
a black man in the gun world. Come on, it's like it fits perfectly. Can we
well,
please?
that and I'm just a little bit bigger than Mr. T, but you know that's okay.
Well, all you need is some gold chains and an earring or two, and maybe like a beard. Like, you got it going on. But his was like, boom, like not Billy Johnson beard, but like somewhere between there.
Mr. T was awesome. I loved the A team. That was one of my favorite shows.
Awesome.
Hannibal.
I love it when a plan
Love
comes
it when a plan comes together. That's right.
Okay, sorry guys.
All right, Obama pushes smart gun tech again, and
Lord.
then two companion articles: 3 reasons why smart guns are a stupid idea, and a smart gun manufacturer responds to gun rights vitriol.
Okay, smart guns will get you killed. You might as well not have a gun at that point. I'd rather have a bat than a smart gun because I know I could get accessible to it much faster than that. So.
Or that hatchet behind you.
Well,
oh, you mean this axe?
Yes.
Or this bat, possibly? I don't know. Or maybe this wakizashi? So many things to choose from.
So I mean, the big thing in this article about Obama making a smart gun push, it's for law enforcement. It's for cops. He wants to arm law enforcement with smart guns.
They will be dead. There's no way. I mean, we've already proven over and over that, in classes, and every instructor's CQB class, go to Craig Douglas, Shiv worked, any of those, look how fast you can get to someone and stab them with a knife. If they have that 2 or 3 more steps, like trying to fingerprint themselves or push a button and blow into something and turn around in 3 circles, they're going to be dead. There's no way that they're going to be effective. It's impossible.
No, you know what they want? They want to have all the police officers' guns deactivated until headquarters gives the go-ahead, and they can use it.
Oh my gosh.
They'll be dead.
Well, that's basically what they try to do with the military, isn't it? I mean, do not fire until fired upon. I mean, that was back in the day. I mean, now it's just ridiculous.
Wow.
They can't defend themselves if they're being...
This is a total strategy of him to get, and this is what I believe from people that are inside that circle, that if they can get law enforcement to adopt smart gun technology, then it's much easier to push it on the general public.
Oh, yeah.
Because you could say, hey, it's good enough for law enforcement. Law enforcement is using this. I mean, you, Jim, you, John, down there in your neighborhood, you need this now. In fact, we're going to make you have this. So it's a top-down approach. And it's really a last-ditch effort because he knows he's not going to get anything else passed this year, his last year. So, I mean, and honestly, if you were a gun control advocate, it's actually a pretty good strategy, right? Like, hey, I'm going to do this smart gun initiative, and we're going to get law enforcement on board. And, but here's the problem. Law enforcement doesn't want it.
No.
And this whole illusion, this whole thing of, like, it's a real problem that criminals are taking cops' guns and shooting them. Does it happen? Yes, it does happen. Is it some big problem? No, it's not some big problem. You know what? Law enforcement getting in car accidents is a much bigger problem. Let's figure out how to make them a little safer on the road and not worry so much about the firearm in their holster.
And criminals are extremely adaptive. So if they know that a smart gun takes a long time and there's a lag period, then they're going to start bludgeoning cops to death or stabbing them to death or doing whatever or mobbing them in great numbers. I mean, everything here is designed to get the police officers killed, as far as I'm concerned.
One Facebook engineer has reportedly become a big ally for gun rights activists. So there's an engineer that came out that says that Facebook has been setting different well, it's not even just pro-gun, but I saw it was pro-Republican, pro-conservative groups been kind of, setting them to be less, I guess, less reach for those types of pages.
Yeah, this doesn't surprise me at all.
A lot of my friends have complained about that. Quite a few that had they've been censoring them and pushing them down in their metrics somehow. I don't know what their algorithm is, but they've definitely been doing it.
Well, it's kind of nice confirmation for like me, because I felt that there was a switch in the algorithm. Like when they did their big algorithm overhaul, I think it was called Penguin. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it was about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, when they did their big algorithm overhaul, and I noticed a dramatic change for my stats, and then. And I thought, I kind of chalked it up. I thought maybe there was a gun thing, and then I thought, oh, no, I'm just being paranoid. I thought maybe it's just because small business and they want me to pay for my clicks, pay
Right.
for the eyeballs. But and probably it was a little bit of that, but I think this is kind of proving a lot of my suspicions to be true.
So we talked about, I don't know, a month or so ago where Facebook shut down a lot of pro-gun groups and pages. And what they were trying to do was crack down on gun sales, being held through Facebook. Facebook took the stance, no firearms sales, no sales of any restricted items like that. And so a bunch of Facebook pages that had either nothing to do with gun sales or were actual FFL pages where they were had an actual FFL with the ATF. Those should not have been taken down, but were, and many of those have been reinstated. But there's apparently one guy here at the admin contact group of administrators over there at Facebook he's a pro-gun guy actually, and he says, I'm 100% laser focused on getting your groups back so you have the chance to get them to comply with new policy. So he's trying to help people get their pro-gun groups that were taken down back on. So I guess that's a silver lining here.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah, we'll see how long it lasts.
See, everyone's very enthusiastic about Facebook.
Well, I just
today.
don't. I mean, look, all this stuff. This is not free speech, right? I mean, this is not covered by free. It's not like somebody else. This is someone else's platform that they have created, and they own it. And talk about and especially when they IPO'd, right? Now they've got investors and all of that. It's like don't count on it being. Anyway, sorry.
I went too close to the politics world for Natalie here.
Let's go political.
Let's pull you back in.
I'm sorry.
I've said this before. What irritates me about it is you're right. They're a business. They can do whatever they want. What I think irritates me is that a company that has enjoyed the freedoms in this country, that have the people that started that company who have become amazingly wealthy because of the free enterprise system in this country, because of the freedoms that we have in this country, and they are exercising their First Amendment rights, right? They're lobbying against the government all the time, right? Make sure the government's not putting regulations on Facebook, and it is a network that allows people to exercise their freedom of expression, right? So they've built this massive company, this remarkable company within this system, right? Exercising some rights, and now they turn their back to other rights. That's what irritates me about the media. And you see this in the print media, You see this in television news, right? All these people that are out there exercising their First Amendment rights. Hey, we're the news, we're the news. Second Amendment, we need restrictions. Right? That's really irritating. That should be irritating to all Americans. I'm not saying they have to be so pro Second Amendment. I don't need a banner across Facebook that says guns. I don't need any of that. But what I do need is many of these media outlets to just respect the fact that there are other rights, to acknowledge it, and don't limit it. No one's saying that they have to administer gun sales. They don't have to do that. In fact, they're not involved in it at all. So that's just something that's really irritating to me.
Well, let's talk about a tech gadget here. It's a high-tech gun box and speaker system in one. So the folks over at Gunbox, they're making this AR home defense shotgun holding. It almost looks like an air purifier, but it's a speaker. It's like a hi-fi speaker, but you really have your gun locked in it. So it's got.
I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited that companies are innovating like this. This is so cool because it really is, it's locked. It's protected from little hands or bad guys, and but it's also a functional piece of of home furniture for all intents and purposes. So anyway, I would love to see more. I mean, you've seen this happening too, with guns behind the clock or in the bed frame, that kind of thing. And this is just that next. This group is going. Gunbox is going to the next logical step, and I'm really excited and impressed. And I want to see a lot more of this. I hope they do really well, and I hope it works well. I hope it's effective and smartly done. And the design is something that's not really up my alley, but I know, I don't know. Do you guys like it? I mean, it seems like more of a dude thing. The way that it looks, you know what I mean?
I personally don't want anything impeding my access to my firearm in a, home defense type situation. That's the only reason I don't like it, is for that specific reason.
Okay, but what about kids? Like as a father, with little kids, you want to impede their access to it.
Oh, 100%, definitely. And that's what we have. There's a gun. I have, let me see, I think about 3 guns on every floor, and I've got 3 floors here, and they're all put up well away where children can't get to them, but they're at the same time, we could get to them quickly if I needed to. So I see I see where you're coming from.
Well, I just think it's an important, all of that, the access versus security it's that balance, and I 100% believe that we can, find that. I love what Gun Vault, does, and that kind of thing. There are other good ones as well. And anyway, this seems to fall in line with that, and that makes me really excited because, I wrote this in an article for America's First Freedom. It came out yesterday. One of my most important values now, well, and it always was. Safety was always a thing for me, but I never had little kids around my place,
right.
And now I'm thinking about a crawler and a toddler and that kind of thing, and I mean I know I still want to protect my rights and exercise my rights, but I also want to make sure that little kid is, he's my top priority. So
definitely.
Anyway, I think this is a cool step in that direction. Could be. I mean, in theory, I haven't tested it. I don't know. I hope it is good.
So it opens either with biometric fingerprint, swipe of a key card, or an RFID ring, or you can also open it with an iPhone app.
Jake, do you see the word? My favorite word is in the second paragraph in this article. Do you see? Do you see
DARPA?
They mentioned DARPA. I'm very, very excited about it.
Yeah, it says, dubbed the Sentinel, the casual standalone Bluetooth speaker platform is made of a pressure foam zero-weld alloy container with dual die cast interlocking hinges and redundant servo-controlled interlocking latches, which sounds like it belongs on a DARPA project request.
And I want to give Chris Egger, who wrote this article on guns.com, a little high five for mentioning DARPA. So
You have a fan, Chris.
I do love my dog. Go ahead.
Moving on. Gabby Gifford starts gun control group in Illinois and promises gun dealer accountability.
Okay, well, first of all, that headline's wrong.
Okay, what's wrong about it?
She didn't do it. There's people pushing her around and propping her up that did it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we weren't allowed to talk about politics.
That's not really. I don't consider that politics. I consider.
It's Gabby Gifford. She's inherently political.
True. I agree there.
Well, who says you can't talk about politics? Do you watch the show? Do you ever watch the show when I'm on it? Hello.
No. Okay, but I'm saying I'm getting reined in for talking politics, so, you know.
I was just giving you a hard time. I'm sorry. So
Okay.
the effort, they say this effort is a long overdue in Illinois. We've been working on these issues for years, and the key thing I've learned about this is somewhere in the stream of commerce between a gun manufacturer and a crime scene, there is someone purporting to be a law-abiding gun owner, buyer or seller who is anything but. So all these guns used in crime, there's a law-abiding gun owner at fault here.
Yeah, this
Wow.
drives me crazy. So I read an article earlier today. They're doing all this Mother's Day stuff, right? Mother's Day is in a couple of days. P.S. All the dads out there, Mother's Day is in a couple of days.
Way ahead.
Yeah, just I think that went through, guys. But anyway, I was reading an article today, and they were talking. It was the same thing. You know, I think the article was, "What I want for Mother's Day is to stop gun violence. Can't we just get rid of all the guns?" And she was, based in Chicago, and she was detailing all these accounts of children that had been shot, and the details weren't. She didn't include a lot of details and whether they were, gang related, whatever. But look, she's right. It is heartbreaking. She was pointing out that, what do you say to the mothers of those kids? I mean, as a mom, I cannot imagine, and my heart goes out to each and every one of them. But what is so frustrating here, that makes you just beat your head against the wall, is that they keep trying the same things and it keeps failing. And they're not looking at the broader cause. Exactly what you just said, Jake. They keep going after the law-abiding gun owner, and that's
Right.
not the problem.
Not at all.
Not the issue. So anyway, this is a really infuriating thing to me, because I love Illinois. I love the people that live there. It's a cool state. There's a lot, it has a lot to offer. But good Lord, what is wrong? Like, when are they going to see that the redundancy in laws is not doing them any good?
They're not. They're
At
not
all.
going to see it. This is the strategy. They have to make it about the guns. They have to make it about the low-hanging fruit. It's the only way to get people on board. It's way too hard to say that we're really going to address what's going on in inner cities, the war on drugs, decades and decades of kids growing up, young men growing up without a father figure. We know when young men grow up without a father figure, white or black, doesn't matter, they tend to turn to crime. They have a much higher rate of going to prison. So no one wants to address these issues because those are hard, right? You're not going to, that's hard to fit into your political speech. That's hard to package that thing up to get it on a CNN ticker tape, right?
Well, and also because the victim, they keep promoting the victimhood of those people instead of empowering them to actually.
It's because it's emotions, and it's emotions, and most people are emotional, so they're not going to stop. It's going to get worse.
Well, it's also like you were saying about. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that they vote based on emotion, and they continue to vote the same leaders in that are propelling the same victimhood and the same gun policies, and it just gets worse and worse. Please, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're right. I mean, just to add on to what Billy was saying, I mean, what makes me laugh is that, well, it's not funny per se, but it's perpetuating the same BS over and over. I mean, every time there's a mass shooting, like when anything happens as a mass shooting and the president comes on, he never talks about his home state. And there's such a high murder rate there. Can you guys tell me one time that he's ever mentioned Chicago and all the children being killed there and all the people in Southside Chicago and what's going on there?
I try not to listen to him.
I understand. It's hard. Yes, it's hard on the ears. But what I'm asking you is, When has he mentioned it? I mean, it's out of control over there. The stats are through the roof, and he never mentions it. And I don't understand why, if he's so concerned, why he wouldn't focus on where he came from first. But it doesn't fit the agenda. That's what I was saying.
The city where he rose to the top as a community
Yeah,
organizer, right? He
right,
has roots there. He knows people there, right?
right.
He should be able to get something done. Surely
You would think.
he could pick up the phone and call some city elders and say,
It's
hey,
it's out of his hands. It's
how do
all
we solve
those,
these problems? Oh, you know why? Because he can't solve the problems.
Nope, impossible.
it's out of his hands. It's all those evil Indiana gun shows. It came out
You know,
a
there are
couple of months ago.
there are religious figures, there are some priests and pastors in inner city Chicago that are doing far more to stop and curb the violence issue than anyone in government.
Is that right? What?
Oh, there's some.
Elaborate.
Well, I'll find you the guy. I don't know if he's a priest or a pastor. Where in his one neighborhood, he has actually curbed the violence tremendously by getting the gangs to come together and play basketball in the gym,
No.
right? And get them off the streets. And there's been people that have been doing great work there. Now it's a very small area, right? We're not talking all of the city. I mean, there's hundreds of gangs in Chicago.
That's where it starts.
People think it's just Crips and Bloods. No, 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 no. This is like the gang world has changed tremendously, over the decades since the 80s, when it was mostly just two groups, right? And they're all fighting over turf. They're fighting over drug turf. This shouldn't shock anybody, right? I mean, there's motivation to why this violence is happening, and the motivation is someone's occupying my turf, which is not allowing me to sell drugs and make money. In a nutshell, that's kind of the problem. Now, there's a lot of other socioeconomic issues involved, but in a nutshell, that's kind of what's going on, and no one talks about that at all.
But the heart of the issue is that the end justifies the means. Money is more important than human life.
Right.
That's it.
So
Well, and all the corrupt officials as well. I mean, that's part of the
Well,
ridiculousness.
yeah, I mean, Chicago has
Anyway.
a long history of their politics in Chicago has been corrupt for a long time. I mean, look at the governor from a couple of years ago, Rod Blagojevich, what's his name?
Blagojevich.
Blagojevich, yeah.
He's still in jail, isn't he, Jake?
well, we only have 2 governors in jail. Come on.
Only two. Only.
Man.
So anyway,
Hey,
we're not going to solve
It's
Chicago's
equal
problems here, but
opportunity. One's a Republican, one's a Democrat. So we're all about equality here.
Corruption, yeah.
So, all right, let's close out the Illinois sadness here. This week we lost a great man in the firearms world.
Our country? Did we? Sorry. Go ahead.
No, we didn't lose a country yet.
Have you looked at our leaders?
give it 6 months.
Have you
Yeah.
looked at the nominees? Because I think we
I was
did.
gonna say.
So this week we lost one of the better-known firearms trainers in the community. Pat Rogers passed away.
God rest his soul.
And Baraka, you have a really great tribute article written up here. I have a link to it. I don't know if you want to just touch on that real quick.
Yeah, so Pat Rogers was here in Northern Virginia. He lived over in Woodbridge. I live in Lovettsville. And Pat was a friend. I actually met him through my friend Jimmy over at F3 Tactical. Pat ran EAG Tactical, and I actually did his AR-15 seminar, which we had a seminar at, it was about a 4-hour seminar over at F3 Tactical. And I was actually signed up to take his class on June 18th. I've already paid for it and everything. And it's just unfortunate because the class before this was on my daughter's birthday, which was on April 9th, and I wasn't able to take that class because not only was it my daughter's birthday, but that afternoon, right after my daughter's birthday party, David Reeder came here from Recoil and Off Grid and Freddie Osuna to do a private class in my house, so I couldn't make Pat's class. And you always take for granted that someone's going to be there next time. So I was like, oh, I'll just take his next class. And the news that we got yesterday that he died was just devastating. I mean, some of my closest friends, Steve Fisher, Cree and Ephraim Rogers from Warrior Shoot. They were like his family, and he was an icon. I mean, there's no better carbine teacher in the United States. I mean, he's touched so many lives, and even by proxy. Before I even met Pat, one of my best friends, Cree, she took me to the range and was showing me how he loads ARs and the principles behind it and things like that. And I mean, it was just he was an amazing guy who touched a lot of lives, and his loss is I mean, if you go and pull up Paul from the owner of Bravo Company made a really nice memorial piece on him and gave up his bio. I mean, he was an instructor at Gunsight. He worked for NYPD for 20 years. He has numerous awards. He was a Marine. I mean, he was the nicest guy in the world, and he brought people together. He united our community, especially in this area, Northern Virginia. If you look at some of the photo albums there in my article, you'll see how many people he brought together as a community. I mean, he was just a lovable guy. Him and my wife hit it off right away just from them both being Marines. And, I mean, he was just easy to talk to. He was a no-nonsense guy, and he'll be sorely missed.
Yeah, that is for certain. We have the write-up linked. It's in the bottom of the top stories in the show notes, which we'll post later tonight. So the AR-15 podcast is giving away a AR-15, 9mm carbine. New Frontier Armory, North Las Vegas, is donating this 9mm carbine. You can enter the AR-15 podcast giveaway in the show notes here or at firearmsradio.tv. Just click AR-15 podcast, and the sign up is right there at the top of the page. I'm offended. Maybe not this week, but somebody here is offended about something. Welcome to the I'm offended section. Burglar sues homeowner who shot him.
Oh my God. Oh, where do we begin?
Yeah, well, maybe with the grammar, that was what was the most impressive to me in the quotes.
You can sue anyone for anything. There you go.
What was also interesting was the judge saying, Judge Max Luty Jr. called McLaughlin, the burglar's victim. They called his actions reprehensible, noting that he fired aimlessly down an alleyway. Don't do that. I just as a general rule, don't do that.
Well, yes, I don't know if you guys saw a couple days ago the video going around, the viral video, the kid that the burglar came in the house when he was home alone and he shot at him.
Oh,
well, the burglar was like 100 feet away jumping a fence, and the kid shot like 9 shots at him. Now, I'm giving this, it was a very young kid, but that's very true, Natalie. Please, when someone is running away from you, don't shoot at them. Right? If there's not an imminent threat, first of all, you don't know where those bullets are going to go.
That's the most important thing, I think.
Yeah, and if you're in a, if someone's 50 feet away and you're not an ace shot.
I've got a segue off of what you're saying, Billy, and now listen to this. You guys, it would shock you, okay? So here at my house, I built a nice 35-yard range on the ground, and I've got it over a creek. It's about 100 yards, and I do the NRA first steps and basic pistol. I had a family of farmers, husband, wife, son and daughter, come out here to do to get their concealed and carry permit and take the NRA basic pistol class. And you guys would be shocked, but they actually asked me. They said, well, if someone breaks in our house and they're running away and they have our belongings, can I shoot them? And I said, no, you cannot. So I played out a scenario. I had them sit on my living room couch, and I said, okay, you guys are watching the TV. I'm walking in visibly unarmed, and I unplug your TV and I start walking out. You are not to impede my progress. You are to call law enforcement. You are not allowed to shoot me. Well, that's the law here in Virginia.
Yeah, right.
You're not supposed to impede them, and you can definitely not shoot them. They were surprised. And I said, this is why, again, back to why law-abiding citizens need more education, because they don't understand that. Look how many articles you guys have seen all over the United States where people who are just robbing places unarmed are being shot in the back because they don't know any better. I'm not saying that they don't deserve it, but it's wrong. You don't do that. There's collateral damage. There's other people that could be hit. I mean, there's,
Well, and you're going to be charged. You're going to be charged. With the Texas case, remember the 2 guys broke into the neighbor's house next door in Texas?
That's right.
The guy's on the phone inside his house.
That's
like,
right.
nope, I'm going to stop him. Grabs his gun, runs out in his front yard and shoots him in the back. He
Yep.
eventually got off, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, because of Texas castle law. Yeah, he got off.
Which is remarkable because
Because
that's not my opinion. That's not my understanding of the castle law. They were in his neighbor's front yard. He ran out of his house to shoot him.
In that case, I believe that the jury just dropped it.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a great example. I mean, seriously, your life is not endangered. Someone else's life is not endangered. You are not rescuing someone.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Money. There's no reason to kill someone for something like that. I'm in agreement with you, Billy and Natalie. I would never, ever.
You're going to get charged.
Right.
And it's going to
But regardless of that, do you want to live with that? Oh, the guy stole something from you. You can buy it again. You have homeowners insurance. It's not a problem. I don't want to take someone's life because they stole something from me.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, looking at this article, I think it's ridiculous that the guy is suing, for sure. And if he, I mean, that's just, it's just ridiculous. But the homeowner here was in the wrong in what he did. So it's a very interesting, it's a case that is important to take a look at because it's more than just the headline.
Well, and we have several stories in the overflow section that are also scenarios where people, concealed carry holders were in the wrong. So you guys can check that out too. I just have too many stories to cover this week. But Billy, something you said, people can sue you for anything, and if you're carrying a gun,
it's like driving a BMW. Like, people are looking at, get you,
Right, and so you should probably consider carrying some kind of self-defense insurance like USCCA has, and I just renewed mine, is why that came to mind, but.
It's a really good suggestion, Jake.
Have you ever known anybody that has used that insurance? Have you ever heard stories?
It's funny that you said that, Billy, because I talked to one of my friends his name is Jeff Shee, and he's a guy locally around here. He's a gun advocate guy, and he has his own insurance firm. And we talked about specifically that insurance, and he said that they've never had a case filed against him. He said when they do, they will be bankrupt. That'll be the first and last, and that they're just riding off of these premiums until they can get to that point.
But yeah, that's a concern because, I mean, the insurance company's only as good as the money they have in the bank or the value of the company. I mean, if they can't pay out a claim, then it's not very good insurance.
So do you think it's not worth it?
I don't know. I don't know much about them. I do know a lot of people that have bought it. But I would like to know if anybody's ever needed it.
My suggestion is to get yourself an umbrella policy, just for yourself, and that's what a lot of me and my friends do, especially people who are firearms instructors. I just do it part-time. And a lot of my friends who are pro instructors, they have those that just follow them everywhere, and that kind of is their buffer between whatever liability is out there.
All right. Do we have another offended? Nevada lawmaker says it's okay to aim your gun at a cop if they aimed at you first.
I mean, come on. This is ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
Probably not good advice to take from that Nevada lawmaker.
Well, I mean, he's going to get people killed.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
You want to talk about irresponsible. I mean, that's just infuriating. That guy, I smell recall. I mean, come on.
And Natalie's offended. Somebody did get offended this.
I am. I'm offended.
I'm extremely offended. I'm on the side of law enforcement, and that's not right.
Offended.
Overflow, extra stories, way too much to cover this week. If you support us via Patreon at our $10 level and hang out with us after the show, you can talk about some of these. Check it out, patreon.com/week. Amazon, you can contribute to the Firearms Radio Network by shopping with our Amazon affiliate link. Bookmark firearmsradio.tv/Amazon, and you can use that link every time to shop and support pro-gun shows like This Week in Guns. We are to the full auto news segment, stories the real media won't talk about, and other crazy stuff. Each of the hosts picks a story to call their own. So you guys go ahead, pick a story out, and first we have the JWB Military and Brass giveaway, giving away 50-count bags of fully processed, sized, ready-to-load brass. So jwbmilitary.com. I have a direct link in the show note to the giveaway forum. All you gotta do is sign up for their email list, and you get entered for their giveaway. I'm shipping brass out once a week through Patriot Patch Company because we're throwing in a free patch as well. So check that out, JWB Military and Brass Giveaway. Only have a few weeks left here of this, so sign up. We have, I think, 3 or 4 different calibers to choose from. You get a first choice, second choice type deal, so you can get the kinds of cartridges that you already reload. So check that out. You can go to firearmsradio.tv and click This Week in Guns, and the JWB Military and Brass giveaway is right there at the top. Just click that. All right, who's ready to go?
I am.
All right, take it away, Baraka.
All right, so I see the line, Brazil to build erotic theme park, but no sex is allowed. Well, let me tell you a little story about that.
Yeah, that's going to work.
The Southern Korea, in South Korea, in Jeju Island, they actually have an entire park dedicated to sex, positions, genitalia, et cetera, all through that Korean people frequent very often. It's like a Smithsonian, but it's outdoors, and it's a ginormous, huge acreage park. And they actually don't have a problem with anyone having sex there. And they're all in a lot of erotic and lewd positions, and people just take pictures like it's no big deal. They've never had any complaints about anyone getting turned on and not being able to, getting overcome with lust and having to do the deed right then and there. So I don't think it'll be a big problem.
What? You took the bull by the horns here with the full auto segment. You didn't.
I did.
You must have been watching some of our other shows.
I told you I watched it before. I told you I'm a fan.
Oh boy, yeah. Who put that in here? All right, Billy, what do you got?
So I want to follow up what I consider a good shot story for those couple stories we were talking about earlier that were probably not good shots. This is an article happened last week. You probably heard it. This is on guns.com, but it was told at many places. 80-year-old woman fatally shoots intruder who stabs her husband. The husband saw someone on the front porch, called the police. And by that time, actually, I'm sorry, he didn't call the police at that point, but saw someone on the front porch, and before he knew it, the guy was breaking in the back of the house. He started rummaging through medicine cabinets, and the man approached him. Somehow they got into an altercation. This guy, who turned out to be 25 years old, started stabbing the man, who was at that point on the ground. His wife grabbed a pistol and shot him and killed him. And the man is still, at least at the writing of this article, is in intensive care. So it was an 80-year-old. His wife was 80-year-old. It does not say how old he was, so I'm just going to assume an elderly couple. And that's what I would consider a good shot. And thankfully, she did have a firearm, because in all likelihood, this intruder probably would have killed her husband and then probably would have turned to her. So again, this is one of those good stories of people defending themselves with a firearm. Oftentimes you never hear the mainstream media reporting about.
I'm sorry, did you say she shot and killed him? And he's still in intensive care?
No, her husband who was stabbed is still in intensive care.
Right.
Yeah.
I just flashed to Monty Python, and is he dead?
It's just a flesh wound.
Come back, I'll bite your kneecaps off.
All right, Natalie, what do you got?
Well, actually, Billy totally stole mine. I was excited about this because I love me some gun-toting granny, and then also this is actually the area where my husband is from. So
Oh.
I know the area, and there's a little personal investment there. But I'm proud, and I mean, it makes me think of my own. Who can't read that article and think of their own grandmother?
Natalie, I already talked about the article. What's yours?
Okay, right. Sorry. So mine is then. I'm just backing you up, man. Come on. It's like,
Go team.
go team.
I like it.
We've been on a team for a long time together, me and Billy Johnson. So
That's awesome.
we're like.
That's awesome.
So here's the thing: Jerry Michalek is Captain America. Have you seen this video? Core77.com. It is the guy creates Captain America shield out of titanium tested against real .45 caliber bullets. Okay, is this Jerry Michalek? I'm watching it with no audio on, and it says Michalek.com. So I'm thinking it's Jerry Michalek, but he's got the whole Captain America thing on, so I can't. It is starring Jerry Michalek. Okay, I just saw the credit. First of all, it's Captain America, so that's amazing. And secondly, it's a video you have to see, please. It's just kind of hilarious because it's Jerry Michalek dressed up as Captain America. And he is testing out the Captain America shield, which is very timely because, the latest episode in the Marvel franchise is coming out soon. So they actually made the shield out of titanium and tested it. And I don't know. It's just awesome watching Jerry Michalek test anything. But this is basically his reality TV show. It's hilarious. Reminds me of my Sons of Guns days.
Oh yeah, good old Sons of Guns.
Yeah, super proud of that.
Jerry's really upped his YouTube game.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
And this dude, I mean, how old is he? Like, he's not a young pup, and he's crushing it. So, congratulations, Jerry. But it's kind of awesome and hilarious, and if you haven't seen it yet, please do. It will make your day.
Mm.
One of those. I almost chose the Monica Lewinsky endorses Hillary Clinton for president because I kind of thought it was a real headline.
And I deleted it because who keeps putting these fake headlines in there? Come on.
Right. Because it's like the Onion, National Report. How do you #1 independent news source? I mean, people fall for that. I historically have a couple of times on the show, so yeah. And almost did again, and then I realized. Because I can learn.
And then we have these stories that have nothing to do with guns, like teen flashes penis in yearbook team photo. And the yearbook gets printed and passed out before they catch it.
Awesome.
Oh, that kid is going to be a legend.
Epic. That is epic. Yeah, forever, the rest of his life, dude. That is awesome. Talk about creative. He gets 10 out of 10 right
That's
there.
That's creative. That's like the most base thing you could possibly do.
No, it's not because he got away with it. Yeah. I know, he got away with it. That's why it's creative.
No one is ever going to forget that kid now.
Creative is the wrong word. It's just basically a typical teenager.
All right.
Away with it. He did get arrested.
Oh, well.
He got arrested.
He got arrested?
Yes.
That's pretty brutal.
So,
wow, the punishment doesn't fit the crime in that one.
Anyways, I wasn't even going to bring that one up. So Winchester, that was linked to Geronimo, sold for $1.1 million. So
you have to do that with the pinky up.
$1 million.
$1 million.
So this rifle sold for $1.1 million at the Rock Island Auction Company. It's an antique Winchester 1886, which has a personalized inscription for Henry W. Lawton, a Medal of Honor recipient, which was presented the rifle for capturing Geronimo. Lawton, then a captain in the Army, led the 1886 expedition that captured the Apache warrior. So this was the last Indian warriors to surrender, so it signaled the end to the Indian Wars. It said this rifle was the first off of a production line and was presented to Lawton by fellow Army officer George Elby, who served alongside him while pursuing Geronimo. And the inscription on it reads, "Elby to Lawton." So it says, no question, it's the rarest Winchester firearm that we've ever offered at the Rock Island Auction Company.
Very cool.
Wow. Okay, can I also, I know I already did mine, but can we
Sure.
just also talk about the crazy gut-wrenching takeoff of the C-17? It says C-5 up here, but C-5 Galaxy near vertical takeoff. Holy wow, you got to see this. It's like, I mean, that enormous plane goes like this. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway, also worth watching. I mean, then it levels out, but it's crazy. It's like, I've never seen anything like that. And that thing, when it flies over you, I mean, like the windows shake. Like, it's crazy. Anyway.
But not only that, Natalie, it's so big. I saw one when I was over in West Virginia one day, and it was touching down. It looks like it's hovering in the middle of the air, and it's such a huge
So it
mass.
looks like it's going floating, like just
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Super
I know.
slow. Yeah.
I know. We were in San Diego one time, and they did a flyover at Petco Park for one of the games,
Mhm.
and one of the Chargers games, I think. Chargers, is that right? No. Anyway, whatever. It was one of the games, and I mean, the earth shook. It was crazy.
Oh yeah.
I've never
It was
experienced anything like that, even at like all the air shows. Anyway.
ginormous.
Okay. Any other stories anyone has to?
Well, just to touch on what we talked about earlier, the 11-year-old chases down the burglar and shoots him in the leg. Again, education. You know, my 11-year-old wouldn't do that because my 8-year-old daughter already knows that you don't shoot people in the back. I mean, again, education.
There's one. I don't know if that article made it, but there's one where a kid, it's like 11, 12-year-old, shot a burglar, and he was like, "Yeah, he cried like a baby after I shot him."
Yeah, that's it. That's the one right there.
Is that the
Yeah,
one?
that's the one. Yeah. Yeah, because the guy had a clothes hamper full of their belongings. The kid shot through the clothes hamper and hit the guy in the leg as he was trying to flee over a fence. So it's.
I think the kid fired like 9 shots or something. Right?
Yep, that's right, in one hit. Yep.
Yeah,
And
the
so
kids-
meanwhile, those other
I'm really
ones.
thankful the kid didn't hit the guy in the head.
Oh, yeah.
Because, first of all, the kid would have to live with that. And second of all, there's a possibility he might have been charged if he would have killed him.
Not to mention if there were other people around.
Well, it just depends on the state, county, yada yada.
True. True.
I had one more here that oh yeah, Amazon affiliate link time here. Just in time for Mother's Day. It's Putin riding a bear action figure. But we don't
We can only do that if Ebbs was
I know
here.
we don't have Russian Ebbs here to narrate it, but
You want me to try? Here.
okay.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Wait, where was it? Russian. I saw this. Riding action figure in Vladimir Putin riding action figure.
That's pretty good, Natalie.
Thank you. I mean, I'm no Ebbs.
Yeah, I get point. I have never heard Evs do it, so I mean that's pretty good. I think. I'm impressed.
But the man is bare-chested, mounted on top of the bear.
We miss you, Ebs.
That's yes.
We miss you.
Yes, I can't do it. I need Ebbs lessons, clearly.
All right, just say I had to ventilate someone.
Me? Okay, I had to ventilate some.
That's pretty good.
Not as good as Ebbs, but yeah.
All right. Well, if you want to hear more Russian Natalie, you can.
I believe it is pronounced Natasha.
Ebs is ventilating turkeys currently. That's why he's not here tonight.
That's right.
So you can support us at the $10 level on Patreon. You can crowdfund This Week in Guns by going to patreon.com/week. Support us via Patreon, and there's also other cool options like T-shirt of the month club, patch of the month club, and also swag, ammo dumps, and stuff like that. So check it out, patreon.com/week, and also check out Patriot Patch Company. More new pre-orders online, and check out all the awesome Patriot Patch Company T-shirts at patriotpatch.co. So Natalie, what is up with you? How can people connect with Natalie Foster?
Yeah, Girls Guide to Guns, as usual. And then, I don't know. I just, check out that article. Let me know what you think about it. It's on my social media, so you can check it out. But it's at America's First Freedom as well. It's just talking about my first Mother's Day as a mom, and yeah, I don't know. Just kind of the typical thing. Girlsguidetoguns.com. And if you're going to NRA, I'd love to connect. I'm going to try to make it to your thing, Jake. It would be really fun to see
Awesome.
any viewers / listeners there. So I'm looking forward
I
to
know
it.
they would love to meet you, Natalie. We had a ton of This Week in Guns viewers, listeners show up at the machine gun shoot, so I'm sure we're going to have a bunch at NRA as well.
I was so bummed not to be at that one. That looked awesome.
It was fun.
Yeah, it looked like it was fun.
Well, very cool. Shoot me that link, Natalie, and I'll throw it in the show notes too.
Oh, thanks. I will.
So, Billy, what's up?
Still if I could get my get the words out of my mouth, it is almost midnight here on the East Coast.
Yes, it is.
Things are going well at Boxer Tactical. We got everything in stock, man. We are cranking. Production is working really well. So everything's in stock, both at Amazon and on our website. And we still got all these new products that we are waiting to roll out. And I think we're probably going to wait till like the beginning of June to roll them out after Memorial Weekend. And we're excited for that. So no complaints from us.
Very cool. And how can people connect?
Can always connect with me via email, billy@boxertactical.com. Follow me personally on Instagram at Amidst the Noise, and follow Boxer Tactical at BoxerTac. My Amidst the Noise Facebook is rather defunct, as is my YouTube channel. But if you are on
Which is a travesty, by the way. That's like for all Americans. I'm just saying.
I'm sorry to disappoint all Americans.
It's just my push because you're talent.
But best place to always get me is either email me or on Instagram.
Very cool. And Baraka, what's up? What you been up to? And share a little bit more about your organization.
Sure. I started MASF off. It was kind of born in tragedy. When I was 38 days old, my father, who at the time was 23, and he was a DC special police officer, and a neighbor needed a ride. He was an elderly gentleman to the grocery store, so my father drove him over there. The guy gets to the checkout, and unfortunately, he forgot his wallet. So my father went back to his home to retrieve it. My father saw the door was cracked open, and my father also had just put a down payment on a dojang, which is Korean for like dojo, Japanese. He was a fourth degree black belt in Cheongdo-kwan Taekwondo, and so he thought obviously something was amiss, he could handle it. But unbeknownst to him, he went in the middle of a home invasion. There were 8 thugs inside that had murdered his friend's wife, several of the children, and he fought the best way he could against the 8 guys, but they eventually wrestled him down to the ground and shot him in the back of the head with a .32 caliber revolver. So as a result of that, my mother had a nervous breakdown, and I went through a very harsh childhood as a result of that. So growing up, one of the things I would do while I was being babysat by the TV was watch a lot of Westerns, and I saw the power of a gun, and I remember very lucidly when I was a kid, Samuel Colt's words that, God made guns, but I made them all equal. And I saw movies after movies of cowboys like John Wayne taking down 8 or 10 dudes. And I was like, if my father knew how to shoot a gun and had a gun on him, maybe he'd still be alive to this day. So that's what I grew up and started to learn about guns. And what I wanted to do was take an organization where I could get other people educated on how to defend themselves, since we have this right in our country, so that they don't have to grow up without a parent. So with MASF, what we're doing is we're trying to fund 2 things. One is we're trying to build a training center, and it's a twofold thing. One, we build a training center, you build it, they'll come. We'll get sports shooters, hopefully with the shoot houses. We want to build a commercial and a residential. We'll get some of the 3-letter agencies, and we want to give people scholarships, basically training scholarships. For example, there was a mother of 3 who has a deadbeat dad. She lives in a bad neighborhood. She can't afford to move out, but she wants to be able to protect herself, her children, her home. She can't afford that, but she can write us through a 443 secured website, give us an essay. We do a small background check. We check her financials. She'll be able to now attend a 2-day, which would normally be a $450, $500 class, 1,000 rounds of ammo, eyes, ears, belt protection, things like that, and all will be provided for her, as well as anyone else that can meet that criteria. So that's why I started this foundation, is because I want people, this nonprofit, so that I can help people that normally wouldn't be able to afford these things. And by building the training center, it'll take care of itself. So we're trying to do different things right now to fund that, to buy the land for it here in Virginia, and we want to become the hub of the Mid-Atlantic, because a lot of the shoot houses and a lot of the larger ranges are only Ellie and X-Mil. So basically, that's the whole purpose of our organization, and that's what we're trying to do, is spread education and awareness and get people to understand that they don't have to live in fear in their own homes, their own neighborhoods, and get them trained and prepared.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That is, yeah. That is an unbelievable story.
So what's the best way for people to connect?
So our website is www.masf.co. My personal Instagram is Baraka, BARAKA _U_James. It's Baraka Ulrich James. That's my Catholic name. And just check us out. Check out our mission, and if you support it, we just ask people to spread words. We have an online magazine on our website, which basically is open up to any of our members that contribute stories to try to help people. If you take a look on there, you'll see there's a lot of stories of people, like we were reading tonight, of people being able to have defended their lives with a gun because they had a gun and scared people off, and they're here today because they learned how to train with a gun. And again, a lot of people think there's a negative connotation in there. There's not. You know, we tell people all the time we're trying to transform people from gun collectors to gun fighters. It's no negative connotation. You learn how to fight in martial arts with your body to learn how to fight with your body, right? So you have to learn how to fight with a gun, you know, to be able to defend yourself and your family. And we want people to do it safely and lawfully. Always law-abiding. Safety drives the train. Those are the two big things.
Very cool. Yeah, we'll have those linked up in the show notes as well for people to connect directly.
Thank you.
So that about wraps us up. You can leave your feedback by commenting on the bottom of the YouTube video or the bottom of the show notes at firearmsradio.tv. Leave us an iTunes review if you listen that way, and contribute to Firearms Radio Network by shopping that Amazon affiliate link, and also listen to all the other awesome shows here on the Firearms Radio Network. Well, thank you, Natalie.
Thanks, Jake. Good to see all of you.
And thank you, Billy.
Hey, thanks, Jake. Thanks for having me.
And thank you, Baraka.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Natalie. And thank you, Billy. I really appreciate the time here. It was awesome with you guys.
That's a wrap.
Good to meet you, too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.